Hi folks, welcome to another edition of the Friday Hi-5 features. So today we're going to mix things up a little bit. It's beautiful outside, fall colors, gorgeous, and before we have to be stuck inside because of cold weather, we better have our house in order. So let's talk a little bit about digital housekeeping today and 5 steps that I'm going to take over the weekend to kind of make sure that all of my affairs are in check and that my digital assets are all in line. So I'd love for you to join me on this endeavor and be able to share your tips and tricks of your own. Or if I've missed any steps, please add them below in the comment section, or add your tips and tricks to the Google thread link below. So, first off, inventory of social digital assets. So with all the new tools, networks that are just popping up every single day, we're constantly building online profiles and giving away our information, signing up in different areas, giving access to all these various different apps, programs, whatever it may be. So it's about time we kind of I sat down and figured out all of the online profiles that I've created, which ones are still valid, and streamline my efforts versus, I've given a lot of different areas a try, and some of them have worked well for me and some of them haven't. So I need to cut loose what doesn't work and focus on the areas where, hey, practice what you preach, right? The areas where your communities are that you want to participate in, those conversations that you want to develop and nurture along the way, making sure that we give our time and energy to those that need it. So after the digital inventory, and along with the digital inventory comes, installing updates for those various different apps or programs or networks, whatever it may do. Just making sure all of those are in order. Next thing I'm going to do is look at my passwords. So, it doesn't fail. Every week I see people that are having their accounts hacked. And we've got to be more diligent about making sure that our passwords are in order. So I'm going to be doing a nice bit of password reset this weekend, making sure that of those digital assets, those social assets that I want to keep, making sure that I set some time on the calendar, go ahead and set those tasks so that I can change my password every so often. So making sure that, I've got that all through the winter months and I've got all that set on the calendar all ready to go. Third, review my privacy settings. So once I've determined what social assets I want to keep, making sure that I've changed my passwords, I need to understand exactly who I'm sharing this information with. Content curation is a huge buzzword. I'm going to be using it in just a second, but how are we sharing our data? Who do we want to share it with? Some of those various networks, those various apps are, have items of interest that I only share with a certain, set of people. And so I need to be aware of what people's interests are, what their emotional triggers are, what my emotional triggers are, so that I can keep the content interesting and up to date and only share with those eyeballs where it's going to make the most impact, and vice versa. So review those privacy settings, making sure that my house is in order. So fourth step is to curate my social network. Sort through my lists, making sure that the lists are up to date both on Facebook, Twitter, making sure that I'm up to date in my Google circles, my Google Plus circles, making sure that those areas of influence, that I keep adding new perspectives to the mix, that I create a couple more lists that help me filter through my data better and to understand and to let those really great insights bubble to the surface. So, after I curate my social networks, I'm going to have to curate my content. So this means, pruning the apps that I have existing, sorting through my social bookmarks. Delicious made a lot of changes, and I'll be honest, when I first looked at it, I wasn't so keen on the changes, but I've been slowly, making some progress and spending time, dedicating time specifically to figuring out what those stacks are. And I was listening to the FIR podcast a couple of weeks ago where there was a brief exchange on the difference between content curation and aggregation. So I want to make sure that I'm not just being an aggregator of links or bookmarks, but I'm giving context to the information that I'm curating, understanding why I'm curating it, who I'm curating it for, both myself and for those people that are using those resources. So getting a better handle of how all of my content is flowing, what presence do I have in the social space, making sure everything's up to date, and that fall housekeeping, that digital housekeeping, keeping my house in order so that when fall does, end and those winter months come and we've got snow, hopefully not as bad as it was last year, when we're stuck inside, we're not going to feel so overwhelmed or disturbed by the digital clutter that surrounds us. So, join me this weekend, digital housekeeping, post your tips and tricks on the Google thread, or in your comments below, please tell me some steps that I've missed. What areas do I need to consider for my digital housekeeping extravaganza this weekend? All right? Have a great weekend. Bye.